What's up guys, today I'm going to be talking to you about the quadratic formula. So the quadratic formula is basically this: x is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So this is what the quadratic formula looks like. And this is used for solving quadratic equations. So you'll see something like ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. This is a standard form of a quadratic equation. So you'll typically see something like this. And to solve for the x values here, you plug into the quadratic formula and solve for x. So how do we get this equation? How do we get this equation? So we know how to complete the square, right? So what we do is basically complete the square on this ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. So let's try completing the square. So first we have to get c to the other side, so subtract c, you get ax squared plus bx is equal to negative c because you subtracted. Then we gotta divide everything by a to get just x squared. We need to get rid of the term in front of the a. So x squared over a cancels out, plus bx over a is equal to negative c over a. So let me erase this. So yeah, so we have this. Oops, alright, so we have that. Now we need to find the coefficient of the b term, the linear term. So let's divide this and raise it by the second power, because that's how you complete the square. So we got b over a over 2, and the entire thing squared. So this simplifies to, that goes up, b over 2a squared is equal to b squared over 4a squared. b squared over 4e squared. So we get that. Alright, now we need to add this term to both sides of the equation. So let's go up here, get x squared plus b over ax plus b squared over 4a squared, that term, is equal to negative c over a plus that term again, b squared over 4a squared. Okay, so we get that term. Well, let's simplify this right side here. So what do we see? We need to find the common denominator between these two. Let's see, we got a 4a squared here and a here. So if we multiply this one by 4a, we'll get the same denominator. So multiply by 4a, we get a negative 4c, not 4c, negative 4ac, yeah. Negative 4ac plus the same b squared all over that 4a squared, since this turns into 4a squared too. And this is equal to the same thing. We'll bring this down, x squared plus bax to b squared over 4a squared. Alright. Next. Now that we have this, we need to, let's see. Okay, something that we notice here. X squared plus bax plus, so this should be a plus b squared over 4 squared. This can be factored. This is the same thing as x plus b over 2a squared. So make that equal to this plus b squared all over 4a squared. Now we have a square here, so we need to square root both sides, isolate the x. X plus b over 2a is equal to square root of this entire thing. Square root of, let's just make this b squared minus 4ac, same thing, all over 4a squared. We can take out the 4a squared here and make that a 2a at the bottom. So x, oh, but don't forget, we need to add the plus or minus in front of here. Since we square root of both sides, plus or minus this squared is equal to the same thing. So I'll zoom out again. X, subtract b over 2a from both sides. So we get this is equal to 2a. Subtract b over 2a. So x is equal to, since both of these have the same denominator, subtract 2a, we get a negative b, because you're subtracting b, plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So basically, we got this equation from completing the square on this equation right there. That's the typical quadratic equation form. Okay, let's try solving some quadratic equations. Okay, we have this formula here. Let's try 5x squared plus 6x plus 1 is equal to 0. Just a quadratic equation. So what do we have to do here? We need to plug in the variables into this equation. So we get x equals the b, negative 6, plus or minus square root of b squared, which is 6 squared, minus 4 times a, which is 20. So 4 times 5 times 1, 4ac, all over 2a, which is 2 times 5. Okay, simplify this as x is equal to negative 6 plus or minus square root of 36 minus 20 all over 2 times 5 is 10. Let's go over here. X is equal to negative 6 plus or minus 36 minus 20 is 16. So square root of 16 is 4 plus 4, negative 6 plus 4 all over 10. So here we get two things. X is equal to let's do plus negative 6 plus 4, which is negative 2 over 10, which is negative 1/5. Or if we subtract, we get negative 6 minus 4, which is negative 10 over 10. X is equal to negative 1. So these are our two solutions. Two x values are two zeros. Negative 1/5 and negative 1. So this works for any quadratic equation. This is one way to do it. It's easy if you have a calculator, or you can just do the workout here like I did it. And yeah, that's basically it on the quadratic equation.